CARICOM heads this morning, we were briefed on the destructive impact of the hurricane on our Eastern Caribbean sister islands. We expressed our solidarity and willingness to support, even as we make our own preparations. Jamaica must take this hurricane seriously. Early this morning, the Cabinet reviewed our plans to manage the threat of the hurricane, and a caucus of Parliament was also briefed on our state of readiness and the provisions for emergency response. In this regard, the government has made a special allocation of $5 million per constituency to assist with emergency cases for food and building supplies through the Constituency Development Fund, the CDF. After careful review of the trajectory of the storm, the likely strength and impact, the potential threats emanating, and having been notified in writing by the Minister responsible for disaster preparedness and emergency management, I am now declaring the whole of Jamaica to be a disaster area in accordance with Section 26 of the Disaster Risk Management Act for the next 7 days. All Jamaica should note that following on this declaration, an island-wide curfew will be in effect between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, the 3rd of July, 2024. This is to ensure the safety of everyone during the passage of the storm and prevent any movement with the intent to carry out criminal activity. An evacuation order on the direction of authorized officers is also in effect for flood-prone and landslide-prone areas, areas at or below sea level, and areas at or close to gullies or waterways. We urge all Jamaicans to comply with notices to evacuate if and when they are issued. However, even without the issuance of notice, if you live in a low-lying area and an area is historically prone to flooding and landslide, or if you live on the banks of a river or a gully, I implore you to evacuate to a shelter or to safer ground. The Minister with responsibility for commerce will also make an order under Section 8 of the Trade Act to prevent price gouging of essential goods during a period of disaster. The Minister of Transport has also made arrangements with the operators of the east-west and north-south toll highways to give free access to the toll road between the hours of 6 p.m. and midnight today, July 2nd, 2024. This is to ensure that all Jamaicans who are currently on the road are able to get home safely and conveniently. The details of the various orders will be gazetted, published in our media, and posted on various government websites. The situation, as you can imagine, is dynamic, and the government continues to monitor developments and will provide regular updates. The entire government and all relevant personnel are in a state of readiness to manage the disaster. ODPEM is leading the National Disaster Response. The National Emergency Operations Center, the NEOC, has been activated, and all relevant agencies are on high alert. Now, as we brace for the potential impacts of Hurricane Beryl, we also need our Jamaican household, our Jamaican family, you, to be prepared. It is imperative that we remain calm. Now, it's not a time for panic. Now, here are some very important steps that each of us should take to ensure our safety and the safety of our loved ones. First thing, stay informed. Regularly check reliable sources of information, getting your updates on the progress of the hurricane. Tune into your local news stations, listen to the radio, and follow official social media channels such as the Jamaica Information Service for the latest information. The Met Service and the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management will provide timely updates. Second, create an emergency plan. Discuss with your family and loved ones what actions to take in the event of an emergency. Identify your strongest room in the house, your safe room, where you can take shelter during the storm. Ensure that everyone knows the location of emergency supplies, such as flashlights, batteries, and first aid kits. This can be a particularly fearful time for our children. Take some time to reassure and comfort them and explain to them what is happening. Third, stock up on essential items. By now, you should have your emergency supply kit with enough food, water, medication, and necessities to last for at least 3 days. And this should include items such as non-perishable food, bottled water, your prescription medications, toiletries, and important documents should be in waterproof containers. Fourth, secure your property. Take steps to protect your home from potential damage. You should, by now, would have already pruned the trees around your home, and you would have secured loose items that could become projectiles in high wind. Given the projected strength of the hurricane, protecting your roof is a critical part of your preparations. Fifth, know emergency numbers. You should familiarize yourself with emergency contact numbers and have them readily available. The following numbers are crucial during this time: police, fire, and ambulance, that is, of course, 119, weather updates, 116, ODPEM, 876-906-9674, the Jamaica Red Cross, 876-984-7860, and, of course, the JPS, 1-888-225-5577. That is 1-888, call JPS. Now, during the passage of the hurricane, there may be loss of electricity and water. The emergency services will seek to restore power and water as quickly as possible. However, citizens should not seek to remove down poles or power lines or disturb water mains. Please use the emergency numbers given to report damage to public utilities and do not take unnecessary risks. Additionally, the JCF and the JDF will be fully mobilized to maintain public order and assist with disaster relief as soon as the hurricane has passed. The security forces have developed strategic plans to counter any potential threat of looting or any other opportunistic crimes during this period. Hurricane Beryl is the earliest Category 5 hurricane on record. It highlights the growing impact of climate change on global weather patterns, particularly on small island developing states like Jamaica. While our carbon emissions are minuscule, our region bears the brunt of the impacts of climate change. The hurricane further highlights the urgent need for global climate action and targeted support to enhance resilience against the escalating dangers of climate change. Your government understands that we live in a time of overlapping crises and unpredictable external shocks not of our making. This means that as a government, as a people, we must be resilient. We must build the capacity to absorb shocks and recover quickly. We have been through disasters in recent years, including a pandemic, and we have recovered quickly. We have been mainstreaming climate resilience in all our plans and programs, including the design and construction of our new infrastructure, our fiscal arrangements, and in our national security planning. We continue to build our reserves to ensure protection against both low and high-frequency events. By any measure, as a country, we are more prepared than at any time in our history to handle these shocks. Nevertheless, we know that it will bring difficult times during the impact and during the recovery. However, if we bond together as a people, and each of us commit to act as responsible citizens, we can get through this and recover quickly. Let us do all we can to preserve life. Listen to the warnings. Act wisely. Put away violent response to conflicts that may occur in crises. Let's commit to being our brother's keeper. Look out for our neighbor, the elderly and infirm. Now is the time that we need community. It is the spirit of community that will pull us through. I know there are many Jamaicans praying right now. Please continue to lift up Jamaica in prayers. With the blessing of God on the vessel of preparation we have made, we will safely ride out this storm. May God bless us all and keep us safe.